Well, welcome to another week of the Feel Good Show. Thank you for joining me this afternoon. And if you're watching this on video, thank you for watching. Before we start, I'm going to just ask the Creator, God, to be with us, to be present with us today in our Feel Good Show and to bless us, to bless you, bless me for the information that He has given me to impart to you, and for your ability to use whatever information I give you in the best possible way for you and your family. Now, this week, I'll tell you what the format of the show is. I'm going to have a chat with you, and I'm going to give you a recipe, and I'm going to give you some tips on how to prevent and contribute to the reversal of degenerative diseases. When I say degenerative diseases, some people have asked me, what are degenerative diseases? They're diseases that degenerate over time. They're diabetes, arthritis, cancer, heart problems, strokes, all of those types of diseases, fibroids, prostate issues, the list goes on. These are all degenerative diseases. I've left out quite a few, but you get the gist of things. So the tips that I give you each week is to help you to prevent these diseases developing in your body. And if they already are, to contribute to the elimination of those diseases. The recipes I alone obviously are not going to do that, but I do run programs. I do run holistic health transformation programs, which over the years has helped hundreds of people to reverse these diseases and teach them how to live a normal life. So stay with me today. I am going to, as I said, give you today's recipe. And if you want to work alongside me with the recipes each week, I can send you the ingredients for the recipe, and you can go to in order to get that, you can go to Sickness to Success. It's on the screen there, to the link in bio in Instagram, and click on the button there, and you should be able to get to the page where you can book a chat with me, or you can book to get the ingredients, etc. All of those are listed there. I know that my tech person is actually at the moment working on it, so there may be a little delay. If you find that, just take the number down off the screen there and give me a call. Yes, and I'll be happy to answer your question. Okay, so what have I got in store for you today? Before I go into that, remember what I'm sharing with you, or what I share with you each week, are the recipes which are very effective in treatment of degenerative diseases. These recipes I have shared with my clients, hundreds of my clients over the years, over 20 years now. I've been doing this, and I've been sharing these recipes and taking them through my programs, which has effectively reversed these degenerative diseases. Yes, so and they're living happy lives now, no pain, no pills, etc. So if you are sick and tired of the pills, the pain, the fatigue, the mental and physical degeneration, then do ring the number, or go to the link in bio, or go to YouTube and contact me. Yes, contact me, and I will tell you all you need to know and invite you to come on my program. So last week, actually, I talked to you about we touched on a few things last week. We touched on, before I go any further, remember to do that click uh, subscribe, share, and like. Yes, please like, share, subscribe, so that I can see that you're interested. I can see that you're benefiting from all of this. And remember, today the broadcast is only on YouTube. So if people are contacting you saying, "Oh, I can't find it on Instagram," I've not been on Instagram since I had that problem with it half recording and not. I will get that sorted. And also, I will be on LinkedIn and Facebook. When I went to link up with Facebook this morning, it's wanting me to go over the whole password thing and that. So that'll be sorted. But you have me here on YouTube. So last week we looked at the chemicals on our food. We touched on the chemicals. We touched on Dr. Emoji's experiments with words that affected the water. And we looked at the types of chemicals that they're now putting on the food that are so dangerous to the human body. And we touched on ways that we could possibly reduce or eliminate the effect of these poisons on our bodies. So today I am going to extend on that. And I'm going to extend on that. And before I do, oh, I did do the prayer. I was going to say before I do that, I'll do the prayer, but we did do that. Okay. So one of the things that I mentioned last week was about the recent rapid rise in colon cancer. And, it's a long known saying that disease begins in the colon because of the work that it does. So colon cancer is now rapidly on the rise, and we need to make sure that we do our best to prevent ourselves going down that road. But this week, I am going to extend last week's show, and I'm going to talk to you about children. Yes, because a lot of times we find that we talk about adult health, but the children, we're thinking, okay, that their children, they heal easily and so forth, but we can make an impact on the way our children, we can make a huge impact on our children's health as their children, and also the when they are adults. As you grow up, obviously, if you didn't have a good healthy life when you were a child, then you're very likely going to have a diseased life when you grow older. So I'm going to talk to you a little bit. Next week, actually, I'll do a presentation about what I'm doing today. But today I'm just going to introduce the subject to you. And the recipe, I'm doing a recipe, and I'm going to reveal that to you later, actually, because I think you'll understand it better when I have actually gone through what we're going to go through today. So I have some things here in the steamer ready to steam, and I'm gonna keep you hanging on. I'm not gonna tell you what's in there, but I'm just gonna switch on the steamer, put it on for 15 minutes or so, and let that steam. So just give me one moment. Let me turn this around so you can see me over here. So the steamer, it's ready. I've got carrots in the bottom, and I've got okra in the top part of the steamer here. Can you see me? Can you see me there? Yeah, there you go. There's a steamer. So I've got two things going on in there. And all I've got to do now, I've washed them and chopped them up, and I'm just going to put it on for 15 minutes. And the reason why I'm steaming, you'll understand as I go through and tell you what the subject, with the subject for today. And one of the things we looked at last week was that when you cook the food and you cook it above body temperature, it tends to it tends to destroy the enzymes in the food. And you need all your enzymes, especially if you're getting older. And I don't believe in this age thing, to tell you the truth, because they keep saying, oh, as you get older, you lose this, you lose that, you lose the other. You lose it because you're not using it. A lot of people tend to stop doing things when as they're getting older because of the belief that as you get older you're supposed to crumble and fall apart, etc. And I don't buy into that. I'm 70 years old and I'm still, like I said, able to do all the things that I was doing when I was 25, climb trees, do all the things I was doing. So I don't buy into it. I think it's how you look after yourself. Okay, anyway, let me get back. I'm diversifying. Let me get back to the subject in hand. And as I was saying, I'm going to talk about children today. And I remember a incident where I had when I was I teamed up in England. I teamed up years ago with an organization that was looking for people to join forces with them to go around and show people how to avoid getting cancer and diabetes and how to treat it once they had it. And I remember we used to travel around the country and put on classes for in community centers, etc., and teach people how to prepare their food, what types of food to prepare, etc., etc. And I remember in one class, this lady, I told her about the effects of the cow's milk on the human body, especially us as Black people. A lot of us tend to be lactose intolerant and so forth. And we're not used to having milk on that kind of regular basis. When I first went to England, it was like milk, milk, milk every single day. The milkman would bring the bottles of milk to the door, and then at school you were told you have to drink your milk because it's the only source of calcium, etc., which is not true. But I told her about the milk, and she said, she came in the next week and she said, you know what, it was not just the milk, obviously it was what we were doing through the weeks. And she said, you know what, look at me, I just feel so great, and I can already see the changes in me, I can feel the changes. She was so excited. And I knew she had children, so I said, have you changed it for the children? She said, oh no, I just did it for myself. I didn't think I needed to change their diet and things. So I said, no, you need to change it for them. Yes, because they are taking in, if they're taking in things, they're even more susceptible to damage from the wrong types of food, the wrong types of things they're taking into their bodies, because the brains are still developing. Yes, they have developing brains, and most of these chemicals and things actually affect the developing brain more than it does the fully matured brain. So you know how it affects you. You can see the results through the diseases, the proliferation of degenerative diseases. You know that that's a contributory factor. So, 15 minutes has gone already. Wow. Just excuse me a moment. Let me just check it here. It's not ready, so I'm going to put it on. It's only on 12 minutes. I don't know why it's alerting me. So I'm going to put it back a bit longer. I'm going to put it for another 10 minutes. Okay, so um, as I was saying, it's important to make sure that your child is benefiting, especially at the early stages of their lives. And I came across some information a long time ago. I think I started to inquire about it because years ago, I remember there was a YouTube video that was, I tried to find it, but obviously it's too far gone, it's too long now. And the mother, it was a pregnant mother. She was on the bed in the clinic and she was having an ultrasound. And the husband had let her go into the clinic on her own, and he came in because he went to look for somewhere to park. And he came in and I can't remember what it was, but he shouted at her. for some reason. And when they looked at the screen, the baby jumped. And they thought, well, what's going on here? You know, the baby was not even 6 months. It was probably about 3 months or something. Baby jumped at the father's um, aggressive voice. And then the mother retaliated, and the baby sort of reacted again. So, you know, as a result of that, more people started to look into the whole idea that the fetus is actually very much aware at a much younger stage than than science had told us. And the baby, they know now that the unborn child is aware and reacts um, to its environment and to what's going on around it. And it also it actually leads an emotional life inside the womb, a lot younger than anyone would have thought, because before we were being told that the baby, you know, it's not until the baby is ready to be born that it has any awareness and things. But that's not true. The baby's aware from heaven knows when, because we can't really rely on science until they have gotten to a stage where they can prove things well in advance. Anyway, the fetus can see, it can hear, it can experience, it can taste. Yes, it can taste and even learn while in the uterus. Yes, before birth. And there's a lot of people now who are taking that on board and even teaching their babies music and to play piano and things like that. And it's actually having an impact on the child's life when the child is growing up. Now, isn't that fantastic to know? Imagine the possibilities that we have in preparing our children for life if we can actually influence them at that stage. So most importantly, what they found is that the baby can feel. Yes, it feels. It's not just this thing there. It feels. So it's having all of our emotions, all of our senses at that stage while it's inside the womb. So in being all of this begins to shape the attitudes and expectations of that baby about itself. It begins to shape the expectations and attitude about itself. Um, So any deep, persistent patterns of feelings within the mother and the father, and you know, will affect the child. And the father, I mentioned the father because research shows that how the man feels about his wife and the baby in the womb is one of the most important factors in determining the success of that pregnancy and the success of the child coming out as a normal, um, intelligent baby. Yeah? So, what happens to the child in the 9 months between conception and birth molds and shapes its personality and determines who that child becomes, what personality that child has. Isn't that fantastic? I think a lot of people are now aware of that. But what are we doing about that? Yes. What are we doing? It stands to reason that if the mother's thoughts and feelings are good, and this depends on it to a large degree on the father's contribution to their lives, well, you can imagine the potential there. Yes, imagine the potential there. The mother's thoughts and feelings will be affected by her diet to a degree. Yes, and her lifestyle to a degree. Yes, all of this will be affected. And remember, the egg that the father contributed to that child will be affected by the father's lifestyle and the father's thoughts and feelings too. So, because a baby is getting a combination of those two eggs from those two parents. So, also the unborn child tastes. Yes, and this is one of the things I want to figure on. The unborn child tastes. Yes, so you'll find that the mother then has the opportunity to influence its lives yes, influence the life of the unborn child when it comes to likes and dislikes, when it comes to food. Yes. So if you, as a mother, yes, want to influence what and how your child eats in terms of its health, then you have to take that on as a parent. With this level of understanding, we as parents can provide a more sensitive, nurturing, humane kind of care while that child is in the womb and after its birth. Yeah. What we feed them, yes, inside and outside of the womb can have a profound effect on their lives. Yeah. So it can make or break them. Yeah? So what I'm going to say to you is that you can actually, if you know you can influence your child's diet and you know how important the diet is, I talked about that and about minerals and vitamins and things that come from the food. Your food makes your cells, which make up your body. Yeah, everything in your body, your food is providing what you need to have a healthy body. So a lot of people can't seem to put that together, that your foods are chemicalized and put into your bloodstream and brought to all parts of your body to build your body and make you well. Yeah? So what you put in your food, in your mouth, in your stomach is very, very important. Yeah. So as parents, you could actually have a profound impact, like I said, on that child's health, because what you eat before the child is conceived and what you eat during the 9 months of pregnancy for the mother, and how you think during that 9 months of pregnancy, is going to affect that child. Yes. So how are you going to eat as a mother? What are you going to put into, if you want the very best for your child, you want them to be mentally and physically healthy, you want them to have an agile brain, and you want them to have an extremely healthy body, you want to give them the best possible life that you can give them. What are you going to eat? What are you going to give that baby in the womb? Yes. Remember, what are you going to think? What are you going to, how are you going to affect that baby in the womb? Yeah. Think about it. So last week I talked about Dr. Emoji's water experiments. You remember, if you watched that or if you were here, and its impact on us who are primarily liquid beings. And just to give you a quick overview, the the he Dr. Emoji did some experiments, and what he did, because he wanted to find out whether water had memory or not. Yeah? So he did these experiments where he put the different types of water in petri dishes, and he put like he would take the clean water, put it in the petri dish, and he would write words on the side, like words of love, words of prayers. You put prayers on the side of it, and so forth. And then on another petri dish, he'd put words like hate and Hitler and things that are not very pleasant at all. And when he did the experiment, let me just turn this off. Let me check it first. Yep, it's done. Yeah, I can turn that off now. So when he did the experiment, the ones that he had put the prayers on and the love and beautiful words produced crystals. The water produced crystals, which were, you have to see these. They are so beautiful. Yes, wonderful. They're like these beautiful snowflakes and just absolutely wonderful. And then when he tested the dirty water, and the, not just dirty water, but the water that he had put all the hateful things on, it came out dirty, and it wasn't crystals at all. It was horrible, muddy looking thing that you wouldn't want to touch, and it was just horrible. And that's how he continued to experiment and realize that words, the energy from our words actually affects the water and changes the water. Yeah. So what I'm saying to you, and what I said to you last week from this, is that realize that our bodies are approximately 80% water and our brains 90% water. Yeah? So if we are walking around, and if I noticed recently, I was out somewhere, and a mother, and I've seen this before in England all over, where a mother was upset with a little child, and she just started to swear at this child, and really had a go and thing. And I'm thinking, this child, knowing what was in my head, you can imagine this child is got her, she's made up, as we all are, of mainly water, and imagine what that is doing to her body. And obviously when we have the thoughts, when the mother has the thoughts, and when there is conflict and things, that baby in that womb is going to be affected in the same way. From the time that baby's in that womb, it's going to be affected. What, remember, the umbilical cord serves the baby from the mother. So whatever goes on in the mother, it's going to affect whatever she puts in there. If she smokes and drinks and do all those things, it's going to affect the health of the child. Yes, and if there's all that aggressiveness and nasty words and things that are being used, they're going to affect that child. So there's so much that we have to be aware of when it comes to our children. So um, uh, we can also remember, I talked about the importance of to plant the seeds of the foods that we want, to make sure that we keep the seeds, because there may be a time when there are no seeds. Yes, I'm sure you know what I mean. There may be a time when there are no seeds to save. So start saving your seeds, start planting them. I'm not going to go over what I went over last week. You can go to YouTube and watch last week's video. But uh, so if you want to influence your child's taste, remember, if you want to influence your child's taste while it's in the womb, then you have to eat the things that you want that child to be eating when it's born. You want to, and even after it's born, that child will desire the taste that you have given it while it's in the womb. Yeah, so you need to make sure that you are changing, if you're not already eating the things that will help that child to grow and give them all the vitamins and minerals that they need. And you need to change your diet even before conception. You need to change it and make sure that you are putting those in there. And that child, you will not have a problem with that child eating the right food when it comes out, because it will already have the desire for those foods. Yes. So um many years ago I came across some literature which I can't remember where I found it, but I'd love to find it again because it's no longer with me. I think it was a book I was reading because I studied as much as I could back then on ancient Egypt or ancient Kemet. And, what I came across was some information which said that when a couple was planning to have a child, they would have to go through a sort of initiation period where they would learn all that they need to learn. They would learn about their bodies and things like that before they even look to conceive that child. So, I mean, that was heavy family planning, the amount of things. It was like they had to go on a program that was, months and months in order to learn all they needed to learn. Um, and Before they had the baby, and this ensured that their child would be catered for during the prenatal and the postnatal period. The child is also, if you, I'm sure many people already know that your child is very vulnerable in its first 7 years of life. During that time, that child is just soaking up everything around it. This is why it's eating everything, putting everything in its mouth, touching everything, feeling everything, because it's new here, and it's just learning, and it's like a sponge soaking everything up. Now, in that time, if you can give that child, especially just train it after it is born, and train it to eat a certain way, yeah, that child will not develop a taste for the wrong kinds of food. It will not develop a taste for the foods that it should not be having. When my grandson was very young, um, he was not allowed to eat all these sweets and the chocolates that you get out of the shop, and that kind of thing. And he came to visit me at one time, and I had to take him to a children's party. And I'd forgotten at the children's party that the place is just littered with sweets. And um, when he came out, I said to him, because I went and got him something else, and I said to him when he came out, I said, "Did you eat any of the sweets, baby?" He said, "No, Nanny, I didn't want any of that." And he didn't eat anything. He didn't eat any of that food. He had some fruit, but he didn't eat any of the sweets and that sort of thing, because he'd not developed a taste for it in the womb. And my daughter didn't eat those things when he was in the womb, and they encouraged him, or just carried on from there, giving him healthy foods and keeping him away. So if you do that, you will find that your child does not develop a taste for unhealthy food. A lot of people will say, it's not fair because the child is, when they go out, they can't eat what the other children eat. Hello. Yes. How can that not be fair? It's not fair to give the other children all those sweets and all the things that they're gorging on, that is going to harm them. Yeah. So look at things the other way around. Because I remember one grandmother had said, "Oh, it's not fair. They should have a little bit." Why would you want to give them something that is going to harm their health, just because you want them to be like everyone else? It doesn't matter if your child stands out, as long as they're healthy. And remember, next week I'll talk to you a bit more about the full effects of diet on a child's life, on a child's health. Yeah, I'm just introducing you to that idea this week. Um, so next week I'm going to do a presentation. So be here. Okay, so um, I have just steamed some carrot and some okra. Yeah. And I'm going to show you how easy it is to actually make food for your baby. Once you stop breastfeeding your baby, you don't have to give it the chemicalized foods in the shops, because remember, even if they say it's natural, they have to put preservatives in it in order for it to stay on the shelf for ages and ages. Yeah, so it doesn't matter what it is out there, it's going to have things in it that should not be in your child's diet. Yeah, so um, if you I can just give you a quick example of how quickly it is to actually make your baby's food. Yes, once the baby is off the breast, and I advocate breastfeeding, because I tell you, there is nothing on this planet that can replace breast milk. The breast milk contains nutrients in it that cannot be found anywhere else on the planet. Yes, it is designed for the baby's mind, to develop that baby's mind as well as its physical body. Cow's milk is designed for baby cows. Yes, baby cows need to jump out of the womb of the mother and to be able to run around straight away. So it's designed mainly for the strength of that baby cow. And I'll talk to you a bit more about that next week. But it's not designed for human babies. And something just popped into my head, which I just think it's funny because I was watching a program years ago on the television, and they were talking to a woman who expresses her milk and sells it. And there are these men who would go and they would buy the baby milk and the breast milk and drink it. And there were people that are saying, "Oh my God, yeah, how could she drink? How could he be drinking milk from a mother's breast? How could he be? How could they be drinking breast milk?" And oh my God! And I thought to myself, this doesn't make any sense, because because you're drinking cow's milk, which is an animal, not a human. Yes, for one, that's an animal, and you're very happy to drink milk from an animal, a cow. Yes, and thank goodness a cow is vegetarian. You're happy to drink the cow's milk, which is designed for the baby cow to make sure that the baby cow is physically strong. But you don't want to drink the mother's milk from a human being. And it just shows the way our thoughts are so convoluted right now. Everything is just upside down and downside up. But I just thought that was really funny. Anyway, um, there was another time years ago when um, some crazy person was going around putting things in the baby food on the shelves in the supermarkets. And there was only one main brand of baby food, which I'm not going to mention, but they were, most mothers were, once they stopped breastfeeding, they were feeding their babies this baby food. And once they had to take all the foods off of the shelf, all the baby's food off of the shelf. And I remember a reporter going around and interviewing these mothers, and the mothers were saying, "Oh my God, I don't know what to do because I can't get no food for my baby. What do I do?" And I thought, Mom, make the baby's food. Yeah, make the baby's food, and this is a good time. This is a good time to actually start making your own baby's food. So you know what's in that food, you know what you're giving to your child, and you can decide what minerals, vitamins, all the things of phytonutrients, everything that that child needs. You can make sure by working through, even if you just work through the rainbow that I gave you bits of last week, you can use that to work through so you know what to give to your baby. Yes. Yes, the mothers were all lost. They were young mothers and they were all lost. They would just didn't know what to do. What am I going to do? The baby food is not on the shelf. So what I've done today, I'm going to show you how quick, how easy, how cheap, and how safe it is to introduce your child to food once you take that child off of the breast. Yeah. So what I did here, I've just got, where are we for time? Not bad. Um, what I've got here, I've got some okra. Oops, let me take it out of this. I've just done a little bit because I'm going to eat it myself after. You can see there I've just chopped up some okra and steamed it. And I've also steamed some carrot here. And you can put all sorts of combinations together for yourself. And you can, of course, you taste it and see how it tastes before you give it to the baby. But Believe me, if the baby hasn't been introduced to all these sweet things and the salts and all the things that are added to the food, then it's not going to know the difference. So it's just going to get used to the taste of the food that you're giving it. I steamed this because I didn't want to boil out the enzyme, and it will be easier once I've steamed it. It's easier to blend it to the stage that I want it to be. So I have the carrots in there. Yeah, so that's your steamed carrots. And I'm now putting in the okra. Yeah. And I'm going to add a little coconut milk that I have left over. So I have a little coconut milk here, which I'm going to add to that. And I'm just going to blend. I'm not putting anything in there. I'm not putting any salt, any seasonings, nothing, because the food itself actually provides all of these. If you know anything about Rastafarianism, I'm not one, but I live very close to the way they live in terms of eating. And they believe that the salt of the earth is in the food. And the food has everything that you need. You don't need to add salt to it. So I'm going to blend this. Yes. Let me switch it on. And there you are. That's how easy it is to prepare food. That's how easy it is to prepare food for your baby. Yes, you don't need any more than that. Let me put it in a bowl so you can see it. And this is carrot and okra. Yes, you can also water it down if it's a bit too thick for your baby. You can add a little more liquid to it. But there you go. It what you buy in the shops is just this, except it's got a lot of stuff in it that it shouldn't. So there you are. Let me just get a little spoon here and show you. There you go. Perfect for the baby who is just coming off of the breast. Wow. That tastes. Mm, that's gorgeous. That's really gorgeous. Oh dear. That was meant to be for a baby. I haven't done that combination before, so I didn't realize it tasted so good. When you taste that baby food, and you can make up all different combinations, you taste that baby food, and you'll probably want to be eating it yourself. Yes, so you have there in this little meal here, you have carrot and you have okra. And the carrot is in the yellow family of the rainbow, because I told you I'd teach you a bit more about the rainbow this week. Let me just look at these small writing. And the yellow to orange, actually it's the orange one, yes, because the carrot is in the orange. And carrots, yams, sweet potatoes, mangoes, pumpkins, all of these that are in this range are they're high in beta carotene. And beta carotene supports the immune system and it's a very, very powerful antioxidant. Yes, and the okra would come into the range of the white, green white, which is also includes things like cabbage and sprouts and Brussels sprouts and broccoli, etc. And that has indoles and lutein, which help to eliminate excess estrogen and carcinogens. Which basically, if you have excess estrogen in your body, carcinogens obviously are cancer causing, and the extra estrogen actually is carcinogenic as well. So that is how you feed your baby. Yes, if you want to give your baby the very best in life, this is how you feed your baby. And you also use the water. Don't use the water from the pipe. Don't use the water from the tap. Yeah, use the spring water. If you're going to make your baby's drinks and baby's food, use the spring water. And one of these days, very soon, we'll talk a bit more about the fluoride in the water. So it's simple, it's cheap. That was 4 carrots, and I've still got enough here for another couple of meals. Carrots and okra. And the okra is excellent, outside of the what it has there, excellent for the digestive system. It heals the digestive system, etc., etc. And a lot of times when babies get constipated, yes, babies, mothers are saying, oh, my baby's all bunged up with it, constipated. It's because, obviously, it's because of the food that they're eating. The body is not assimilating that food, and it's actually there inside the colon. If you're feeding them the natural food without all the chemicals and all of the things that actually don't enhance their health, they don't enhance their health, they will. Let me just get rid of this call. Yes, if you are feeding them foods that will damage their health, this is the way that you really need to be feeding your child. Yeah. So I hope that you got the best from this today. I hope it helped you enormously, and I'm going to eat this because it's lovely. So that's it for today. Join me next week, and I'll have another episode. I'm going to talk a bit more about children's health as well. And remember to do all the things that you usually do: like, subscribe, share, and do all of that for me. And like I said, I'm going to have things coming together. Things are gradually coming together, and I'm going to have a lot more out there on offer for you. And I'm going to have the Instagram page updated. And I know I keep saying, but these things will be done. It just takes time to do everything. And you'll see me on Instagram. I will go back to recording it on Instagram as well, and also update the Facebook page. And somebody's actually looking at the whole thing for me, this whole social media thing, which I'm not particularly, it's not that I'm not good at it, but I prefer not to do it because I have so much more to do. So thank you again. And I forgot to tell you who I am. I'm Dr. Kalifa. I'm Dr. Kalifa, and I am a holistic health transformational doctor. I help you to transform your life by reversing and preventing degenerative diseases and living and learning how to live your life healthily, without disease, without pain, without fatigue, without mental and physical degeneration. And I have been in this business for over 2 decades, going on to the 3rd decade. And I have helped hundreds of people to do just that. Yeah. So go to the link in bio, as it says on the screen, and check out the the information there. Take a look at some of the testimonials and all that sort of thing. And if you need to contact me and the page is still not connected up there, just call me on the number that you see on the screen, and I'll be very happy to answer any of your questions. And you can also send questions to me on the email as well. Um, and I think that is all I have to, yes. So if you're tired, like I said, if you're tired of the pills, the pain, the fatigue, the mental and physical degeneration, the money that you're spending, the heart problems, the pills that you're carrying around, like one of my clients, like I said, was labeled the pharmacy because she was carrying around a big bag for years of pills and medication, etc. If you are just sick and tired of all of that, remember, I help you to remove the cause. And once there is no cause, there can be no symptom. So, with all of that, God bless you. And I hope you will link up with me again next week, and we can go from where we left off this week. So I'm just going to do your quick meditation, and then that's it for today. All right. So just give me a moment while I open the meditation, and it's going to be a short one as usual. So just start to relax yourself wherever you are. Just completely relax your body. And remember to take some deep breaths. The computer is moving very, very slowly today. Um, Take some deep, deep breaths and just completely relax your body. Take at least 3 deep breaths. Just breathe in and breathe out. And as you breathe out, just let go and relax. Just let go. Breathe in and breathe out. Once more, breathe in and breathe out, and just allow your body to completely relax. And just ponder on these words that with me, I am filled with peace, and there is no loss. There is no loss. Nothing can be lost, misplaced, or forgotten. There was never any loss nor confusion. Creation is perfect and complete, and within the one are all things and are all known to the one. I am now in complete harmony with the whole, and I cannot lose nor misplace anything. I am constantly finding more and more good. I know that there is no loss. So just ponder on those words. You can, ponder on them for a bit longer and take them with you through the rest of the week and think about how they resonate with you. Thank you once again, and I will see you next week. Take care.